People look at this sign and they read it, but they always say to me, "You're awful proud to think you're God's favorite." But I say to them, when you look at the sign and you say that, who is God's favorite? I guess we all are.
Since 1858, the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet have shared God's unifying and reconciling love across New York's capital region and central New York, caring for the sick, helping the poor, teaching and guiding, advocates for social justice, protectors of the earth, lifting those in need with encouragement and love, comforting us all with their presence and prayer. In our hospitals and schools, our homes and parishes, in shelters and soup kitchens, wherever people are in need, the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet are here, serving the dear neighbor.
The mission of the Sisters of St. Joseph has never changed. It has always been about being the reconciler, about being the unifier, and that never goes out of date. My name is Sister Mary Jo Tolman, and I have been a Sister of St. Joseph for 57 years. I served in parishes throughout the Albany and Syracuse Diocese in the roles of teacher, faith formation director, hospital chaplain, and parish life director. Today, I serve as the resident services coordinator for a senior living community at Shaker Point at Carondelet. When I took the position, my predecessor, Sister Marian Rogers, I said to her, "So what's it all about?" And she said, "Do everything you can to enhance the life of the resident." A lot has happened in the church and in society and in the community over my 57 years. Initially, we were primarily in schools, and education was our primary ministry. But as the world changed and the church changed and society changed, we had to redefine ourselves, re-educate ourselves to respond to different needs in community. So like being parish life directors and college teachers, as administration in hospitals. And I find that we respond to the needs of the time, always with a focus on serving the dear neighbor, wherever that neighbor is. So while the roles have changed, the focused ministry, the relevancy of our work has remained the same. Because we're always the unifier, we're always the reconciler, and we're always the ones putting out unifying love to everyone that we meet.
As a Sister of St. Joseph, we're for the dear neighbor. I often had wondered when I was a young sister, why dear? Why don't we just say neighbor? And, but it adds such a deeper spiritual connection to making the neighbor a sacred person. My name is Sister Rose Castelino. I have been a Sister of St. Joseph for 29 years. Today, my ministry is, I am a campus minister at the University of Binghamton. I've been there for 10 years, providing all kinds of faith services to our students to help them through their college years. My place is a place of welcome. They don't have to be Catholic. They know that. They come. It's a safe place where they can share to me if they need to help them out or to guide them or give them assistance. When I look out and see the diversity, it just does my heart well. It's just like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is the unifying love. This is bringing people together. This is educating people together. This is helping people understand each other's different cultures. As a Sister of St. Joseph, we're for the dear neighbor, so it doesn't matter where you come from, rich, poor, marginalized. And I think that, for me, that's why we're still so relevant today, because we're looking at the individual. We're not looking at a program or an event, but the individual and how we can help that individual meet their goals or their needs and to have a fulfilling life.
I think the Sisters of St. Joseph today are reaching out to the dear neighbor by, again, looking at the needs of the time through what we call the lens of unifying love. And our charism, which is unifying love, is the recognition that God's love and activity is present in all of the creation and all of the people of the time. And so how do we, by everything we do and how we live, how do we bring that unifying love to bring healing and transformation to the world? I'm Sister Lauren Vandermark, and I have been a Sister of St. Joseph of Carondelet for 63 years. I have held many different roles, many different ministries. I started as a educator, a teacher, and during that time that I was teaching, I also had the great privilege of being the coach for basketball, and I was the coach for softball, and I loved it. And I was fortunate enough to go on to get my master's in social work. And for 25 years, I ministered as a social worker at Catholic Charities in the Albany Diocese. When we look at our world today, there seems to be a lot of separation and discrimination of people saying, you know, they don't belong, or this one isn't invited, this one is left out, and so on. And it's the exact opposite of what the charism of unifying love says. Unifying love says that we are all called to reflect God's unity by who we are and by what we do. And so therefore the opportunities just keep increasing. I like to say that almost every day that you wake up, you think to yourself, what's the opportunity today where I might be able to put myself with others to bring about some kind of a change or something better for people who might be having a difficult situation, and so on. The opportunities are saying to us, be present, activate, move toward healing and move toward transformation of our world so that people are neighbor with neighbor, neighbor with God. The unity will make us stronger and better.
What it's like to be a sister is, first of all, to be in love with the Lord and to desire with all your heart to share His love, His graciousness, and His knowledge with all people with whom you come in contact. My name is Sister Lois Mary Pello. I am 95 years old, and I've been a Sister of St. Joseph for the past 77 years. I taught for 36 years. After 36 years, I felt the need to change my ministry. And after praying about it and asking God's help, I decided to go into parish work. I did hospital visitation, nursing home visitation, where we also did prayer services with the people. And I did bereavement counseling and bereavement ministry, as well as RCIA, which is the Rite of Christian Initiation for adults. And I absolutely loved it. And I knew, because I felt so good about it, that I had made God's plan for me come alive. For the past 10 months, I have lived at the Teresian House in Albany. As a member of the community at the nursing home, I have been able to share my faith and my happiness at this time of my life with those who are going through the same days as I am. When I came here, I said to the Lord, all right, if you want me to go there, then you give me a ministry to do. All of a sudden, I was at prayer one day, and I heard the words, the ministry that I want you to do is the ministry of the smile. no matter what. Whenever you smile at someone, they're going to smile back.
The longest ministry I ever had was at St. Mary's Hospital in Amsterdam. And I was on the administrative team for the hospital. And I like to say I oversaw the soft side of the hospital. So I was able to have a direct influence on how the hospital served the poor. And that was absolutely the joy of my life. I'm Sister Danielle Bonetti, and I am a member of the Sisters of St. Joseph, and I've been in religious life for 62 years. The Sisters of St. Joseph today we are women of great variety, but we will always serve the dear neighbor wherever there is need, and without distinction. For 5 years, I served as coordinator of justice ministries. Our sisters, even in retirement, are active in justice issues. It is core to who we are. We did advocacy work, really trying to keep environmental issues before people's consciousness. The other one is peacemaking. War is the most destructive way to ever address an issue. And it really always just leads to more war. And then the immigration issue is the other issue that we put a lot of energy in, because we really need those people in this country. We've always been a nation of immigrants. If there's anything that the world needs now, is the ability to approach things nonviolently and in prayer. And we offer that. How do we settle disagreements nonviolently? Through dialogue and then through prayer and faith. So we offer that it's a kind of a counterculture or a counter witness in a time when it seems like yelling at each other seems to be the way we can best solve things. We also have a passion for uniting people with God and with each other. We call it the double union. Union with God and union with neighbor of neighbor and neighbor with God. So that's the core of who we are. And if you've met a Sister of St. Joseph, we might have done a variety of things, but we all have that underneath is that desire to bring union into the world and to serve the dear neighbor without distinction.